Ladies and gentlemen and ladies, girls and boys and girls, welcome back to our channel, Inspirational Minutes. But they make sure everything look good before I sit down. Hey, hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and let you know that our channel is on. Get the book, The Audacity of Woke, Kindle, softcover, hardcover, audio book, a memoir of a man. Let me get my point out. Okay? A memoir of a man who has been mentally asleep. This man right here. Right there. That's me. Yeah, that's it. Whoa. Hey, welcome back. I hope your week has been good. Hope you're not weak. W-E-A-K, during the week, W-E-E-K, and that is the weekend, and you're not weekend. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, and let you know that our channel is back on, and we're doing our thing once again. I was going back and forth today about what am I going to give this bill today a title. Going through my notes, I got so many things. I could just say Friday night talk or weekend night talk, but we're gonna talk about some donkeys of the week. We're gonna talk about him. Yeah, we're gonna talk about him. And this guy here, he was on the Breakfast Club. His name is Larry Elder, I should say. Butcher the man. You guys know how I do it. Hey, welcome to the weekend. Welcome to the weekend. Just a little drink and get it started. Let's get it started. Thank you in advance. We have had a long year. Now we're going into 2024, election year, right? And you know, it's gonna be a very big year. I've been talking to my clients and patients, and they are anticipating a change, and so we are going to name this bill. It should have been a wake-up call. Yeah, that's what we're going to name it. Larry Elder, thank you for that quote. It should have been a wake-up call. We're going to help you see today. We're going to help you see. Get your eyes right. Huh? We're going to get your eyes right. We're going to get your pineal gland where you can see through your pineal gland. So, thank you in advance. Thank you in advance. Hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notifications, let you know when our channel is back on. You want David to be Rudy or Rowdy? Which one? You want me to be Rudy, cheerful, or do you want me to be Rowdy? I can go either or. Today, our Inspirational Minutes with David today is properly titled, Should Have Been a Wake-Up Call. Let's put the video on audibly so you can hear Larry Elder fused with charlamagnethagod over Biden's "You ain't black" line. You ain't black line. Since we had our first Republican debate this week, and we're gonna go over it a little bit. We're gonna do our thing today, you tell me what you think. Let me audibly put this on so you can hear it.
There's a Larry Krasner, George Floyd's DA in Philadelphia. He's been impeached, but this Philadelphia State Senate wouldn't even take up the case. We've had 2 attempts to repeal a soft on crime DA in LA County, and it hasn't gone through yet. We've got a bunch of, in my opinion, this guy Alvin Bragg, he ran promising to get Donald Trump, and when he got in, He said the evidence wasn't there, and then one of the former DAs writes a book, accuses Bragg of giving Donald Trump a pass, and all of a sudden he brings counts against Donald Trump. I think it's unfair.
Do you think members of your party are leaning toward fascism?
Define fascism.
Authoritarian?
Define fascism.
I mean, the rejection of democracy, the rule of law, and equal rights under the law in favor of a strong man, Donald Trump, who interprets the popular will.
No, I don't. There was a long article about Barack Obama by one of my mentors. His name is Thomas Sowell. He's an economist. He's back conservative, still alive, around 95 years old. And he wrote a piece in which he said a lot of people call people like Barack Obama socialist. Socialism is government ownership of the means of production. Fascism is when the government allows you to own means of production. The government tells you what to do. And he said, frankly, technically, people like Barack Obama are fascists. That is to say, these are left-wing people telling you how to run your business, telling you what to sell, telling you what you can't sell. For example, in California, we have a governor named Gavin Newsom who recently said by the year 2035, no more sale of new gas-powered cars. How dare you? Most people don't want an EV. They like their own gasoline-powered cars, but now you're telling the dealership they can't even sell them? What do you call that?
But what about, when you tell women what to do with their bodies?
Well, that is a moral issue. I happen to be pro-life, and I believe that that abortion is a sin. That's not telling women what to do with their body. That's expressing my opinion about whether or not it is right or it is wrong. For example, there is a guy right now behind bars in Philadelphia named Dr. Kermit Gosnell. He is an abortion doctor who performed late-term abortions.
You know that is.
When I ask people who consider my position to be extreme, I ask them, tell me at what point do you believe pregnancy has gone so far that to terminate the unborn would be homicide, and almost nobody will give you an answer. So in other words, what you're really telling me then is this guy, Dr. Kermit Gosnell, should be set free. He's a political prisoner. He was persecuted unfairly. If you won't tell me when you think at what point a pregnancy cannot be terminated unless it's homicide, then to me you're essentially allowing women to kill the unborn, no matter how old that unborn is. And I think that's wrong. The other thing, Charlamagne, real quickly on this issue. It'd be one thing if the pro-life community was not talking the talk and walking the walk. But there are literally thousands of pregnancy centers all over America, where there's funding for adoption services, funding for housing, funding for education, funding for job training, to let women know they have alternatives. And every state will decide this. The government shouldn't be passing some sort of law one way or the other regarding abortion. Every state's going to decide that. I'm in California, which is a deep blue state. There have been 2 initiatives to restrict abortion. I voted in favor of them.
I'm in Texas, deep red, by the way.
And when abortion has been put on the ballot in recent years, the people that wanted abortion restrictions have lost. The American people pretty much have said, first-term abortions, they want them to be legal. Late-term abortions, they don't want them to be legal. I happen to disagree with that, but I'm willing to live in a society that has a different point of view than I have on this issue.
And you have a real democracy if you're taking away people's power of choice. If you're taking away people's power to choose, not giving them any option.
Well, if you consider it to be a crime that abortion is a sin, in my opinion, you're not taking people's right to choose. You're making a moral statement about what's right and what's wrong.
There's a lot of sins, though. Sex before marriage is a sin. I'm sure you did some of that.
As for the sins of my past, either the Lord has forgiven me or the statute of limitations have run out. I'm making a joke about that. A lot of people, of course, make mistakes, yes. And I think that people should deal with the consequences of their actions. And if you let people know there are consequences to their actions, it will inform their actions and make them behave more responsibly. Anytime you allow bad behavior to continue, you're going to get more bad behavior, whether that's...
So how does that apply to President Trump then? Because you said that was a 2-tier system that
because
is unfair.
I don't believe that Donald Trump...
You don't think he did anything?
I don't think he did anything wrong. No, I don't. I believe that he complained about the election the same way Hillary did. Hillary, for 4 years, referred to the 2016 elections having been stolen.
She sure did.
Word, not mine.
She did.
She called Donald Trump illegitimate. Her word, not
she
mine.
Did. She did.
Jay Johnson, who's Obama's DHS secretary, testified under oath that not a single vote tally was changed by the Russians. They tried, but they failed to change a single vote tally. 66% of Democrats believe the Russians changed vote tallies to get Donald Trump elected, even though Jay Johnson testified under oath, not a single one was changed. That's the damage that people like Hillary and former President Jimmy Carter and Stacey Abrams and Hakeem Jeffries and others have said for years, referring to Donald Trump as illegitimate. A greater percentage of Democrats believe 2016 was stolen than we feel that way about 2020, but yet nobody calls them election deniers and nobody accuses them of undermining our republic. And they're not undermining our republic. They're complaining about an election. You have a right to do so.
I know you probably got to go. Have you ever heard the term nigga wake up call?
No.
Wow.
It is an incident where a person of color forgets that they are of color and are reminded rather brutally by an unexpected act of racism. Have you ever had
Excuse my French. Let me pause this right now. So Charlamagne the God on the Breakfast Club 105.1 FM. It's in New York, and he Larry Elder is going on the Republican side to run for president. He is a radio host in California. And while he was doing his media rounds ahead of the 2020 election, you know, he talked about when Biden appeared on the Breakfast Club with Charlamagne to discuss how he planned to address problems, concerns within the black community if he was elected the president. Now, after a series of quick questions, President Biden shot out a short line, a terse line saying, "I'll tell you." And I let Larry Elder, I let him finish the rest of what Biden said. To me, being a so-called black man in America, you know, a black man in America, a black man in America, but no, I'm American, okay? I'm original American in America. You know, we have the holiday coming up in a couple of months. It's called Thanksgiving, but no, it's really Thanksgiving. You know, 'cause I was here, my family was here, but rest aside, let's get back to what Larry Elder said. Presidential nominee coming on 2024 for the president. One of the, you know, he's trying to get in office as well. What he said, what happened when President Biden was going for his presidential election back in 2020 on the Breakfast Club. Here we go.
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying, "You ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or
What
for
the
Donald Trump," it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in?
How dare you?
You, a black man, and tell you got to think a certain kind of way. I'm amazed that you weren't mad about that.
I'm not gonna say that.
Well, you're just not talking about a nigger wake-up call, and it seems to me
nigger wake-up call.
Have a white guy
Excuse my
here
French.
who also said, by the way,
Wow.
about Mitt Romney.
Now, let me explain to you. You know, I don't like to go those types of terms here on this channel, on this bill, but on this channel, the Optician Inspirational Minutes with David. Now, the slang, a nigger wake-up call. It's defined as it's an incident where a person of color, a POC, person of color, forgets they are of color and are reminded rather brutally, painstakingly, brutally by an unexpected act of racism. So, you know, Charlamagne went there with Mr. Larry Elder. And Mr. Larry Elder clap back. Let's
put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't.
Whoa! Waiter! Check, please!
I didn't say you were.
Hold up. Say it again, sir.
But it wasn't, apparently.
I mean, no, for the record, I'm not.
Hold on.
I'm acutely aware, Charlamagne, that I'm a black person, just as you are a black person. And when Joe Biden insulted you by saying,
let's have a drink.
"You ain't really black, we don't know whether or not you want to vote for me or for Donald Trump," it seems to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part. How dare this guy come in here and insult you, a black man, and tell you
seriously
to think a certain kind of way. I'm amazed.
That part.
About that.
I'm not gonna say that. It's like I'm not letting you upset. You know what I mean? I don't tend to get upset
Well,
what I did say.
Well, you just not talk about a nigga wake-up call, and it seemed to me that should have been a wake-up call on your part.
Oh!
White guy coming here.
Hold on. Let's stop the video. Let's stop the audio one more time. He said when Joe Biden insulted you, people of color. He said he insulted me by saying you ain't. You know, they say we talk Ebonics, people of color. We don't talk proper English. He said, Joe Biden, he insulted us. He said, you ain't really black. If you don't know whether you want to vote for me or vote for Donald Trump. And then what Mr. Larry Elder said, he said it should have been a fucking wake-up call on your part. Let's continue.
Because he didn't want to put more regulations on Wall Street, he's going to put y'all back in chains. And Joe Biden has lied for decades about his civil rights record, claiming that he desegregated movie theaters and restaurants in Wilmington, Delaware, when he didn't do any of that. He lied and said that he tried to visit Nelson Mandela during apartheid South Africa. He did not. And he came in here and told you aren't even black and let you think a certain kind of way. It seemed to me that should have been a nigga wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently.
I mean, for the record, I'm not a Democrat article.
I didn't say you were.
Yeah, I think both.
I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. Yeah, I'm just saying, but you are black. And to have a white guy come in here and tell you have to say think a certain kind of way.
What?
Why did you quote?
How to vote?
Wow.
How should I have replied to you?
What I just now said, how dare you insult me and tell me I think as a human being, let alone as a black person.
What?
I don't tell you how to think, Joe Biden. How dare you tell me how I should think. I'm going to vote for Donald Trump if I want to vote for Donald Trump. And if I want to vote for Donald Trump, it does not make me
I vote who the fuck I want to vote for.
Black men, as I said, voted for Donald Trump in 2020. Are they not black now? So only 80% of black men walking around are really black, 20% are not, because they voted for Donald Trump. How insulting is that? How condescending is that?
I mean, you're probably right, but I didn't take it that way.
I said
to him in that moment, it was just about me wanting something for my people, and I want to know what is he going to do for my people, and not only for my people now, how are you going to atone for the things you've done to my people?
Right.
That's it.
Right, and this is a guy, Joe Biden, who, when he first got into the Senate, hung out with segregationists, talked about how well he got along with them.
the jungle.
Talked about how he didn't want integration because of a jungle.
Yes.
This guy has made all sorts of insulting things to black people, and his policies right now are hurting black people. Inflation hurts the people at the bottom more than anything else. Letting a bunch of illegal aliens into the border are hurting black people more than anybody else, as I said earlier. He's opposed school choice when he has his own kids in private school, and we lost a year, almost 2 years of in-school education in California because of COVID that he supported. I mean, this guy has done monstrous things to black people, and then for him to come in here and tell you how you ought to think as a black person, that blew my mind.
As a person objective,
it blew my mind too, brother.
Care about either party. When I just take a step back and just look at everything that's happening, I see one party that seems still committed to democracy somewhat, and one party who's headed fast towards fascism. That's just my personal opinion. Who do you think I would vote for?
Well. Let's talk about fascism, since I assume you're talking about election denying. In 2000, when George W. Bush won the election over Al Gore, the Democrats the first week of January,
we know what it's all about.
Tried to overturn the results in Florida.
We
2004, George W. Bush gets reelected. Democrats, including Benny Thompson, the chair of the
you don't have to keep
Jamie Raskin,
teaching
this
young boy
Democrats
disguised as a man.
Overturn the results.
So we're done with that. Isn't it amazing that 2024 is coming, and it's coming fast. Like I was saying, that Charlamagne the God on 105.1, I just he got roasted. He had to get put in his place. Again, I'm reiterate this, and we're gonna move on. Elder then aimed at Charlamagne. As again, I read it to you as well. He came here and told you that you aren't even black unless you think a certain kind of way. It seems to me that should have been a NIGGER wake-up call for you, but it wasn't, apparently. Now, Charlamagne, he punted on the question saying, no, for the record, I'm not a Democrat or Republican clan. Elder didn't relent saying, quote unquote, I didn't say you were. I don't know what you are. I never even asked you about your party affiliation. I'm just saying, but you are black and American. And you have a white guy come in here and tell you you have to think a certain way. Otherwise, you ain't black. Wow. So, I'm gonna let that go. This shit is funny. I'm gonna let it go. I'm gonna let it go. It should have been a it should have been a wake-up call since we on there. That's it. Woke my book behind me. People, I'm not a racist guy. Everybody have a little bit of racism in them. Yeah, I said that. Yeah, and you say you don't, you're a goddamn lie. Everybody have a little bit of prejudice in them about certain things, or the way things are made, or the way people are, a group of people are. And if you say you don't, you're a damn lie. So, it's the wake-up call. It's the wake-up call. And, you see, the name of this bill today, you should have been a wake-up call. You see, I am committed. David Butler, I'm committed to looking at reality in the face and speaking about it without pretense. It is because I reject prevarications or lies, right? And run away that I am accused of pessimism. But this rejection implies hope. The hope that truth may be of use. And this is more optimistic. This is a more optimistic attitude than the choice of indifference, ignorance, a sham. I've learned a lot of things, especially since I wrote this book, the title that you see behind me, The Audacity of Woke. And what I learned through writing that book, especially during the pandemic, the pandemic during 2020, I learned a lot from it. It shook me up. It took me out. It threw water in my face, like I have said before. Yeah, I come out the water. It was water thrown in my face while I was sleeping. I woke up trying to breathe, and I woke the hell up. And what I learned from becoming conscious, consciousness, I learned to look within. What bothers me outside, to look for the conflict within me. Because the outside shows me a reflection of the inner world. I learned not to take and not to want to change anyone. I understood that change is me. That if I want to see the change outside, I must first change myself. I learned not to hold anyone responsible for my emotions and the things that happen to me. I am the only one who thinks in my mind and feels in my heart. No one is responsible for what happens to me. Because consciousness or not, I choose always. Now, I learned to set my loved ones free without guilt and blackmail. I understood that guilt and blackmail damage the soul of those we love. We decimate, we destroy them. And I can't do that because I love them. I leave them free. Love, letting out vulnerable emotions, living on value energy is freedom. They owe me nothing and no thing. I choose to share with them from love and freedom. Freedom. You see, I learned not to expect anything in return from them or anyone. Like I said before, love is not a negotiation. I learned not to sacrifice for anyone. Sacrifice, always expect something in return. Don't you freaking forget it. Always expect reward and then get freaking disappointed. Sacrifice, like I said before, is not love. Sacrifice is not love. I learned to act from unconditional love, okay? Which is a loving force that expects nothing in return. It acts only out of love. I give only for the joy that is felt in giving. I learned that I have no power over anyone, only over myself. I understood, I understood that wanting to change others is an act of complete ignorance, stupidity, selfishness, and a dictatorial feeling. I learned in me lives an absolute inner freedom. I am free to decide with whom I want to be and whom I do not. That life is an enjoyment and it's not a suffering, and that from my limited free will, I can decide that it is my true power. It is my decision. I learned that my inner guide is my feelings of like and dislike. Like and dislike. And that alert telling you, get out of here. I learned to love and respect myself so damn fucking much that people come into my life who love me as much as I love myself. And by becoming conscious, by becoming aware, I learned to free myself from labels and masks to the true, authentic, to my feelings, to be true and authentic to my feelings. I'm not interested in feeling good or faking myself. I'm respectful to others, but guess what, people? I don't fake myself. You dig? I don't fake myself. I learned to respect others times by not being invasive. I have learned to withdraw in time from places where I'm not welcome because I understand that I do not have to be full well and fall into what anyone wants me to fall into by their standards. I learned that souls are united by vibrations. And when they are not, they can finally separate and make each their life not to endure, nor let them put up with us. I learned to value my space, my life space, to take care of my energy. If something or someone is not up to my energy, I know I can withdraw. That I can get out of situations that do not bring me growth or growth to my well-being. And if I do not withdraw in time, my body will demand it. It will proclaim it. It will demand it later. I learned to get out of sadness, quarrels, and anger faster. I just don't jump camp there anymore. I choose to change the course of my emotions, doing things I like or seeing people who stimulate me. The quarrels that used to last me months now last a day or even a couple of hours. I learned only love, LOVE, letting out vulnerable emotions, living on valued freaking energy, kindness, bring. I learned to get out of everything that takes me away from peace, balance, and love. I learned to look for emotional causes of my illness and take cards on the subject, changing perception, transforming my life if necessary, so that implies radical changes that are uncomfortable for me. I learned to listen to myself, to respect my inner voice, the guide who knows what suits me the most for my growth. Before he let me stunned by inner voices and outer voices. Not anymore. Not anymore. Only my inner guide knows what's the best for me. Awareness, being conscious, it taught me to be a little bit more intuitive than rational. Reason, calculates, measures, speculates, but does not know. The heart is a direct arrow that leads to the right path for your evolution. You see, I was taught that I can do anything, so I believed it. Without a thing to hold me back, to slow me down, I knew I could achieve it. I could achieve it no matter what they frowned upon when I said I could achieve it. But guess what, people? Guess what, family? They didn't believe. They didn't believe in the fly optician. They didn't believe in me. They didn't believe in David, but they thought I was crazy. Deranged, loco. That I would never amount to be nothing. I would never amount to anything or no thing. That I was indolent, I should say, or lazy. They tried to bring me down, to make me doubt myself. But I refused. I repudiated. I refused to listen. I knew I had the clout. They tried to kill me. They tried to silence your boy. But my words will live on. My ideals will be free. They tried to bury me, but I will rise. And I will continue to rise and rise and rise again and again and again. Like a phoenix from the ashes, I will be reborn. I am not what they see. I am more than flesh and bone. I am an ideal, a dream, a spark that would not be extinguished, that would not be decimated, that would not be destroyed. I am bulletproof. Yeah, I am. You didn't know this about my life unless you read my book. I've been shot 5 freaking times, 2 to the head, 3 to the body. Close range. I am bulletproof. Not only physically, but mentally, spiritually, emotionally. I am not afraid. I will change and alter the world one by one, little by little. Like a water that keep going against the rock until it fades out and make a crack and run right through it. I will change the world one ideal at a time. You made it this far. Inspirational Minutes with David. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell notification. I know it went a little hard. A little bit on my mind. You know, it should have been a wake-up call. This right here should have been a wake-up call to all. Okay? Hit the bell notification. Hit the subscribe button. Step back. Yeah, that's it. Well, get the book. $5.99, $6 freaking dollars. Audio book for people who don't even want to read. They can just listen to it. Audio book. Kindle, softcover, hardcover, paperback. I'm going to leave you in peace. I will. Peace. Positive energy always create evolution. And know that if I love me, right? If I love me, right? Because I love me. I love me some me. If I love me, then I love you. And when I love you, you love me. Like the circle or the number 8 synergy. I love you. I love you in truth. Until next time. Peace.